It's a Sunday, baby. It's time to check with our resident NFL insider information broker extraordinaire here on a Sunday. Boy Green Daily starts right bleeping now. Don't change the channel.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hello. My name is Paul Eston Jr. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, my lovely abode. Thanks for stopping by. If you're on YouTube, like the video, hit subscribe, baby. Spread the gospel of all things BGD. Welcome to the program. It's a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcasts. Welcome to the continuation of the weekend episode where we could get a little crazy. And hey, when we want to get crazy, we want to bring a great party guest. And this guy certainly checks off the bucket list. So let's bring him in. He's our resident NFL insider, NFL information broker. And before I do, let me actually throw this up on the screen here, baby, so you guys can take a nice little gander here. Booyah! Between the hash marks with Matt Lombardo. It's absolutely terrific. There is a direct link in the YouTube description down below on the Substack, or just slap on this QR code, baby. You can transport over. I've been told some level of technology here. You'll have to take my word for it. And also take the word of this man, Matt Lombardo, joins us here on the program. Good morning, Matt.
Paul, happy Sunday. We're one Sunday closer to the season kicking off. And, you look at the calendar, final days of June. It's hard to believe the Jets and 31 other teams are going to be reporting to training camp in like 3 weeks. It's
I know.
unbelievable.
We can do this, Matt. We can make it through this. We can. I keep convincing myself every day, and it's going to be awesome. And here's the thing. Once we get to training camp, the race is on. From training camp to preseason, the storylines are going to be pouring out, and then it's just don't blink, people. You might miss something. So absolutely, it's about to be a trip, so we better enjoy shows like this while we can. And Matt, let's get right into it here. And quite frankly, it's this. I think one of the most fascinating players in this roster is Quincy Williams because he himself is a wildly fascinating dude in general, but specifically to this year, he's in the last year of his deal. He's getting dramatically underpaid. His teammate, a guy that he has been under his tutelage, Jamie Sherwood, a young guy who doesn't have nearly the credentials he does, just got paid essentially triple what he makes. So it's sort of an interesting balance because this sometimes happens on the roster. And what do you do? To Quincy Williams' credit, he's been there their entire time this offseason, but a lot of trade whispers about his future. Matt, let me go to you. What do you make of this Quincy Williams situation? It's very interesting.
Yeah, Paul, I agree. The Quincy Williams, I won't call it a standoff, but situation with the Jets is fascinating because of the dynamics of his contract, and you look at everything that's going on around him. But I reached out to an NFC executive on Saturday to kind of pick his brain on this. And the takeaway from my conversation was he doesn't anticipate the Jets trading Quincy Williams. He thinks that he's too valuable to what they do defensively, has too much upside with a defensive-minded head coach like Aaron Glenn. You look at the production, 100 tackles at least each of the last 4 years, 2 sacks at least each of the last 4 years, a pillar in the locker room from a leadership standpoint. Fascinating dude, as you mentioned. But what I came away with was the feeling isn't that the Jets will trade Quincy Williams, but if they make him available, this executive all but guaranteed the Jets could fetch a day 1 to day 3 pick in the NFL draft. So the trade value is pretty high for a player like Quincy Williams if the Jets decide to shop him. It's not my expectation or my takeaway from who I've spoken to that the Jets are openly looking to deal him. But Paul, if a team comes knocking, comes calling, offering a second round pick or a late first round pick, that's a conversation the Jets probably have to listen to, right?
Yeah, and just to make sure I clarify there, you meant a day 1 to day 2 pick, correct?
Yes, they won the day
Okay.
2 pick. Correct.
Okay. Yes. All right. Yes. And yes, I mean, the fascinating thing about Quincy Williams is obviously he's in a unique contract situation last year of his deal. He's in a unique age situation. He's 28. I believe he turns 29 a little bit later this year. So you have that going for him. And then here's the other thing. And I went back to this as I wrote pieces about this. There is only one team in the National Football League that pays two off-ball linebackers at least $7.5 million or more per year. And by the way, Quincy would want a lot more than 7.5. But that just goes to show you that NFL teams currently don't pay multiple off-ball linebackers a lot of moolah. And that is the New Orleans Saints, by the way, who check off the bucket list with former Jet Demario Davis. Salute over to him. And also they have another player who's also in that category. So I'm sort of curious what they do. Are they willing, the Jets, willing to make modern NFL history of paying two off-ball linebackers that kind of money? Or they say, hey, man, no one else is doing it. That means we shouldn't either. I'll be sort of curious to see where it goes from here. Again, maybe this is another one of those trade deadline situations. Depending on where the Jets are, could depend on whether or not they decide potentially to flip one of these guys. Hey, shout out to MFC, baby. Mother effing chew. Hey, now. Now, and MFC, you gave a membership to Nicholas Gonzalez. Welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Appreciate that. MFC have 12 raffle tickets for a contest this month. There's only 2 days remaining, today and tomorrow. So try to take full advantage of that here on the program. Yes, I am fascinated to see sort of where they go. And here's the other tentacle here, Matt.
Yeah.
Quincy Williams is the brother of Quinnen Williams. Depending
Yeah.
how Jets treat Quincy could be like, whoa, what the hell's going on over here? So that could sometimes be a sensitive situation, Matt. A bit unique to what the Jets are dealing with here.
Oh, for sure. And you have that connection. And, I talked about this on my podcast this week between the hash marks, that how you handle players like a Sauce Gardner, who we spoke at length about a couple weeks ago, how you handle a Quincy Williams, a Quinnen Williams. These are pillars of your locker room. These are, the standout players on your defense. How you handle their contract situations, that sends ripple effects both positively and negatively through the rest of that locker room and the rest of that roster. That, okay, if I ball out and I play up to this level with this organization, if they take care of me, you're going to buy in. You're going to get buy-in from those type of players and the players that are on the rise. But if you start nickel and diming players like Quincy Williams, players like Sauce Gardner, players like Quinnen Williams, that's where you start to kind of lose that goodwill. You kind of reshape the negotiations when the time comes, and guys might have one foot out the door if they see a guy like Quincy Williams cast aside, or Quinnen Williams lowballed in contract negotiations, or Sauce Gardner having to sing for his supper. And I think it's really interesting, Paul. The Saints have never, you brought up the New Orleans Saints, they've never met a top of market contract that they didn't fall in love with forever and start handing out gold watches for anniversaries down the line of those contracts rather than moving on. So it is a bit of a catch-22 there. But you look at it, what a team like the Eagles did. They traded for Zach Baun, unheralded off-ball linebacker. They bring him in, becomes an all-pro, and they cash him up as one of the top paid players at the position. And then in the first round, they round back and they select Jihad Campbell this year in April. So I think that there might be some momentum to having two of those off-ball type of players. And as far as a potential Quincy Williams trade would go, I know it's slightly different positions with an edge rusher versus an off-ball linebacker. The ages were similar. Montez Sweat going from the Washington Commanders to the Chicago Bears for a second-round pick. They immediately cash him up, sign him to a long-term extension. Shortly after that trade goes down, he was 26 at the time. Williams is 28. But there is a precedent there that if a team looks at Quincy Williams and says, okay, we're going to make him the centerpiece of our defense, let's ship the Jets a second-round pick. Let's send them the 28th pick in the draft because we desperately need to fill that need, and we'll take care of signing him to that extension then. So it's not like you're looking at this as a one-year trade for a rental type of player. That new team might look at him as a player that they want to build around for the next 2 to 3 years, 4 years beyond.
We're all talking NBA free agency because it's coming up. And normally the term in NBA free agency is a sign and trade. The player's a free agent and you sign him to trade him. But in this case, it sounds like you're pulling a reverse Uno card, Matt Lombardo, a trade and sign that he's traded in as part of the compensation would be locking him in. So the new team has it all figured out. So to your point, to avoid the rental situation.
Yes, I mean, I think that's becoming more frequent. You look at AJ Brown getting traded. You look at the Montez Sweat deal that we spoke about. It seems like teams are more than willing to pull off the trade, especially if they're given a window, even of a couple days before the trade goes down, to hush hush, quiet, back channel talk the contract negotiations before actually pulling off the trade.
That makes a lot of sense. You want to know what else makes sense? Hitting the resign button on your Boy Green Coffee Club membership, baby. OG Jets fan 1985, welcome back to the family. We've always wanted you back. Now you're back at the Thanksgiving dinner table. You're welcome. OG Jets fan 1985, welcome back to the show, and you're being welcomed in the comment section. We love to see it. All right, Matt, let me put you on the spot. Let me put you on the spot here, okay? This is what we need. I need you to pull out the crystal ball because obviously you don't give predictions. You give spoiler alerts on this show. Look into your crystal ball and tell us, give me a breakout star for the New York Jets in 2025. Who is a breakout player on this roster you could see? I'll even muster a name myself.
Ooh, all right. I love this. I'm going to go deep here. Pouring over the roster, pouring over the depth chart, looking over the draft class. Malachi Moore, fourth round pick, safety from Alabama. Versatile, can play deep center fielding coverage, can throw his weight around in the box in an Aaron Glenn defense. Go into the Wayback Machine a little bit. The Detroit Lions, when they were first on the come up, the draft class that signaled that Dan Campbell's kneecap biting Lions were here to stay. They took Brian Branch early, a safety from
Alabama.
And we've already heard Aaron Glenn talk about the similarities between the players. Now, I know that you still have Tony Adams on the back end there. You're probably going to have to win out and steal that starting job. But when you have a player that your head coach and this new general manager selected, you might get some preferential treatment or viewing when it comes down to making those decisions. I could see a position battle shaping up in training camp, Malachi Moore winning it, and I could see Moore as a breakout player to watch on a defense that's loaded for talent, especially up front. And if he gets in the starting lineup, he's a guy that had, I believe it was 5 interceptions over the last 2 years, 3 or 4 interceptions, whatever it was. He was a ball hawk, always around the football at Tuscaloosa. You get a defense that swarms in the front seven. If those edge rushers live up to their potential, he's going to have opportunities. Look out for Malachi Moore.
Damn it, Matt Lombardo. I love the cut of your jib, pal. So I'm going to swim in the same pool as you. Let's go secondary. And I will admit, there may be some bias here. But you know what? I'm saying it right up front. Andre gosh darn Cisco, baby. He signed a 1-year deal. And people are like, who's Andre Cisco? Well, if you listen to me, baby, I've been telling you about him since before free agency. He was a player I targeted in free agency. Said this is the right fit for the New York Jets. They need to grab this guy. Former Syracuse product. Go Orange. He's a guy that's been playing down in Jacksonville. And he just picked a shitty year to have his worst year, Matt, as he was in a contract year, then he became a free agent. If we rearrange the years, like let's say would have had the crappy year in year 1 or year 2 or year 3, he would have still gotten the bag in free agency for what he brings to the table with his youth and insane ball hawk production. And it did not happen because he picked this year. And I say the Jets got lucky. Lucky. Lucky that they got this guy coming off that bad year. So you got him for a song, and he's going to kill it this year. He's going to dominate. He's going to get at least 4+ interceptions. That's happening. I'm throwing that out there. And then he's going to get the bag, whether it's from the Jets or another team. I can guarantee it, baby. Put that Joe Namath guarantee out there. I'm telling you, Andre Cisco is going to be a breakout star, and hopefully the Jets are the one that's giving him the bag next offseason. Yes.
Yeah, Paul, I coin flipped this one. Because I had Cisco and Moore as my 2 breakouts. And I'm like, which way am I going here? And I went youth and I went upside and I went, it hasn't done it before. But you're right. Cisco is a great fit. He's a ball hawk in his own right. Great fit for what they do. And again, he's a guy that had a lot of potential in Jacksonville, just kind of fell off at the wrong time. Sometimes that change of scenery, sometimes playing on that prove it deal. Sometimes that's the combination that it takes to get the best out of a guy. So I love the pick. That could be a real breakout for the Jets.
All right, let's do this. Let's give some respect. I mean, this is a Jets show. Jets people watch us, but let's go. Let's extend our pool. Right, this water's very nice, but hey, I see another pool over there. It's the AFC East pool. So let's pick another guy that's a non-Jet guy, but it could be Dolphins, boo, Bills, boo, or Patriots, godforsaken, boo. Let's pick one of those guys that could break out this year. Does a name jump to mind? Matt Lombardo is a potential breakout star in the AFC East that is non-Jets related.
Yeah, Paul, this is a guy that Malachi Moore and Andre Cisco are going to have to deal with twice a year. This year, moving forward, it's Keon Coleman, the first round wide receiver chosen by the Buffalo Bills a year ago. Never quite found his footing as a rookie. It got to the point where the Bills went out and brought in Amari Cooper before the trade deadline. And you look at what they did this offseason, and you look at their wide receiving core. They bring in Josh Palmer, which is fine. They already cashed up Khalil Shakir last year, so he's their number one wide receiver. But as much as you could say the Bills needed some wide receiver help, Brandon Beane, one of the premier general managers in the league, looked at his wide receiving core and said, I'm going to take 3 defensive players in the first 3 rounds. I'm going to triple up on the defense because I need to go and stop Patrick Mahomes. But why did Brandon Beane and the Bills feel so comfortable going defense, leaning into their front 7, beefing up their defensive line? Because they took Keon Coleman in the first round a year ago. And if you want to talk about the potential to break out, is there a better case scenario than catching passes from Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, where you have Shakir at the top of the depth chart, but Mac Hollins, his former security blanket, is no longer there. The offensive line is still in really good shape, and this is a team that wants to throw the ball. They want to throw it over your heads 20 times a game. Keon Coleman is the guy who's going to break out by bringing those passes down.
I just want to thank the Buffalo Bills because you're right. Keon Coleman was supposed to be a first round pick, but they traded out to give that pick to the Kansas City Chiefs, who got Xavier Worthy, who burned their tuchus when they played. So I love it. Yeah, Keon Coleman, sure. We'll see you breakout star. We'll see you at Hard Knocks, I'm sure. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to stay in the secondary. And again, bias may come out here, but people, I just call it how I see it. I got to go to the Miami Dolphins. This is a guy I wish the Jets would have signed. Ifitu Melifonwu, another
Yeah.
Syracuse guy. I love this kid. 6'3", 210 pounds. He could play corner. He could play safety. Throughout his career, he's yet to break out as a pure full-time starter. He's always been a part-time starter. This past season, it was marred with injuries. He had a dislocated finger. He battled an ankle injury early that put him on IR for a while. This is versatile as all hell. The last name should sound incredibly familiar. His older brother, Obi Melifonwu, killed it for UConn, and he destroyed the NFL Combine a couple of years ago when he broke all kinds of records. He's a freak. And throughout his career, he has shown flashes, but now he looks like he's going to get an opportunity to finally be a full-time starter with the Dolphins with former Jet Ashton Davis. Hey, now throw him over there. But yeah, it's Ifitu Melifonwu. Again, a guy I wish the Jets would have gotten because of the versatility, because of the mentality. I remember interviewing both him and Andre Cisco back in the day when I was covering Syracuse football pre-COVID. These kids are great, but specifically as we're talking here with Ifitu Melifonwu. Dolphins fans, I hate to give you any credit or love whatsoever. Quite frankly, it initiates the gag reflex. I would much rather throw myself off a bridge than say anything nice about a Miami Dolphins move or fan, but I must call it how I see it, and I think you guys got a great one, and he is going to be spectacular as a breakout star for the Miami Dolphins this year, both as a full-time starter, and I think he's going to be playing all over the place as a versatile chess piece in that secondary, Matt Lombardo.
Great pick. Great pick. Love the bust out pick. And it's a big year for the Dolphins. They need that defense to take a big step because we've seen it. They've struggled when Tua has been injured to get anything going on offense, but they're built around the fireworks show of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They need that defense and that physical presence to step up against teams like the Bills, like the Bengals late in the year, which has been their Achilles heel. He could play a big role in making that happen.
I brought up Ifitu Melifonwu. Prior to the Miami Dolphins, he was on the Detroit Lions. And the Lions, their pantries were ravaged this offseason. Losing the handsome Aaron Glenn to the New York Jets. Thank you very much. And Ben Johnson leaves. And you look at this team. What is the plan here? The rest of the NFC seems like they're getting better. what's going on with the Lions and their refusal to add a star pass rusher opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. It just doesn't make any sense, Matt.
Yeah, that's what's really fascinating here. I have a series running on between the hash marks grading each team's offseason leading into training camp getting underway. And we hit the Lions this week. And it's just really fascinating to see how much they are betting on Aiden Hutchinson getting healthy and returning to form instantly from that gruesome leg injury that he suffered last year. You go back to the NFL Combine in March, General Manager Brad Holmes has been pretty steadfast that they weren't going to reach for an edge rusher in the draft. They certainly didn't do that. They didn't take one until very late. They weren't going to overspend, couldn't overspend because of the cap situation at the position in free agency. And all of a sudden, you're going through the offseason, minicamp is approaching, and their perennial All Pro center, one of the premier centers in the sport, Frank Ragnow, announces his retirement. So now you're sliding Graham Glasgow over from guard to center. I think they could look to add there. I'd look for a guy like Dalton Reisner to be a name that you could watch there if he gets tired of waiting. Daniel Brunskill is a guy who didn't allow a sack a year ago. That you need that quality center to anchor a line that's been as dominant as the Lions have. But Paul, it just feels like this is an offseason by the Lions that's been more defined by the departures. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, both coordinators gone. Never easy to fix. You lose Carlton Davis on the back end of the secondary. You lose key players. It's almost like they're going to need to lean on the Dan Campbell hyper competitive culture to get them through this. And I still think there's a lot of talent on that roster. You start to talk about Jameer Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams and Sam Laporta and Jared Goff and 4 of the 5 offensive linemen returning and Brian Branch on defense. There are pieces there, but it's a tough opening stretch of the season. I mean, they have 2 consecutive division games and then they go to Baltimore. So if it gets ugly for them early, it's going to be really interesting to see how they recover. Do they bounce back? Or is this a Philadelphia Eagles type of situation where adversity hits in 2023, the wheels fall off the wagon? So they're going to be really interesting to watch. I do think they're going to need to add an edge rusher at some point, whether that's going and bringing in, somebody who gets cut at training camp, whether it's a trade deadline trade. I just don't know that they have the pieces opposite of Aiden Hutchinson to form that competent pass rush that we've had that's been their backbone the last few years.
It's very fair. Again, we're speaking with our NFL insider extraordinaire, Matt Lombardo. Sorry, this gets me so emotional talking about what you bring to the table. So I had to gather myself. There is a direct link in the Substack down below if you guys would like to read more of Matt's work beyond just what he gives us on a week-to-week basis. Matt, can you talk about a little bit about what you provide and what people will get when they click that link down below?
Absolutely, Paul. Yeah, each Monday we have our 4 Downs column, which is our all-encompassing column every Monday morning, the biggest storylines across the league with insight from executives and coaches and scouts and former players. You can get access to the Between the Hashmarks podcast with Mike Tanier and I, my friend and my mentor, colleague of mine over the past decade. Every Friday we have the mailbag where you fire off your questions to me. I pose those questions to agents, scouts, coaches, get their insight, provided in the answers, and if there's any breaking news or analysis, I'm there to break it all down for you the moment it happens. And what's really exciting is through Monday, through June 30th, in honor of Pride Month, if you sign up for a paid subscription to Between the Hashmarks, you get 6 months free of Mike Tanier's 2 Deep Zone, and we're automatically donating 20% of the proceeds to the Trevor Project so that our LGBTQ brothers and sisters know in their darkest moments that they're not alone. So you get full year of Between the Hashmarks, 6 months of Mike Tanier's 2 Deep Zone, and 20% of proceeds going to the Trevor Project. Great promotion. It runs through the end of the day tomorrow.
You can't beat that, baby. So make sure you guys jump on it quick. Again, you guys are running out of time to contribute in that way. Matt, I heard a lot of hubbub, and last year I wanted the Jets to dip their toes in these waters, and they chose not to during the draft. I wanted one of the big 3 wide receivers. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. would have been fun. His father obviously played here at Syracuse. Malik Neighbors, LSU, they've been wide receiver U basically the entire time. And one of the big names I really wanted was Rome Odunze, who I spoke with during that pre-draft process, and I was a big fan of Rome's even before that interview. And we have those guys, and there's names that have gone beyond the first round that obviously have made some noise too. Do you believe that it all lived up to the hype? Because a lot of people were calling that one of the better or best wide receiver draft classes we've ever had. Did it or does it continue to live up to the hype?
Yeah, I wrote about this on Friday actually over at Between the Hash Marks. You look at this wide receiver class from a year ago, and you look at the production. Brian Thomas Jr., who we
Right.
didn't even mention down
Yeah.
in Jacksonville, right? Over 1,100 yards, double-digit touchdowns. Lad McConkey, and by the way, Thomas did that without Trevor Lawrence being healthy. Lad McConkey
Mhm.
becomes a favorite target, maybe the lone target in Justin Herbert's arsenal. Malik Neighbors, bursts onto the scene over 1,000 yards in 15 games, I believe it was, with Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, and who you and me at quarterback for the Giants last year. And that's what you're just scratching the surface because Roma Dunze didn't touch that 1,000-yard benchmark, but he was dealing with an offense that had no cohesion, no chemistry, two different play callers. Caleb Williams kind of swimming a little bit with everything going on around them in that system. Now you have Ben Johnson arriving. Ricky Parcell, when he finally got on the field after that unfortunate incident, the shooting incident in San Francisco last summer, he showed some great flashes. He's going to have a bigger role in San Francisco this year, especially not just because of his skill set, but because Deebo Samuel is now in Washington. He's a commander. He's no longer there. And Keon Coleman, who we talked about earlier, that's a blunder on me. Second round pick, Keon Coleman. You might remember my brain doesn't process numbers all that well. Adonai Mitchell with the
Oh,
Indianapolis
yeah.
Colts. I loved him coming out of Texas. I put him into that top tier coming out in the draft. If Daniel Jones bounces back, Adonai Mitchell's going to have a big role opposite Michael Pittman Jr. And then you look at Roman Wilson, unheralded, underrated. He might wind up being the number 2 wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you look at the talent at the very tippy top and you look at the depth. Paul, I think there's a case to be made that this wide receiver class in 2024, you can put it right up against 2014 when you had Mike Evans and Odell Beckham Jr. and Brandon Cooks because of the breadth, because of the depth, and because of the situations that these guys find themselves in. I think their best days are ahead of them, and they were pretty good as rookies as well.
Amanda, it is going to be an amazing historic class. There's no question about it. A lot of star power. Again, I even missed BTJ, who apparently Joe Douglas, who's no longer with us, back with the Eagles. He confidently said, I had Malachi Corley above Brian Thomas Jr. on my draft board, and that was a bold choice. It's not over yet for Corley. Year number 2 is coming, but we'll check back in on that one in a couple years. Not sure we have to, but we'll try to do what we can. Matt, before we get you out of here, is there anything else in your notebook or anything else you wanted to shout out here on the program?
Just get me to July, get me to training camp, get me to real football, Paul. I'm itching for it.
There you go. And Matt, who normally joins us every Sunday here on the program, which has been a lot of fun over the past couple of months, he's getting some well-deserved R&R with the family, which I'm super excited about. So we'll check back in with Matt Lombardo a little down the line here before we get to training camp. So enjoy some time away, my friend.
Appreciate you, brother. And these Sunday mornings have been a highlight the last few weeks, the last month that we've been doing this. Looking forward to the season ahead. And I just love starting my day with the cup of coffee and talking Jets in the NFL with my boy Paul.
That's it, baby. Matt Lombardo, baby. There's a direct link to his Substack down below. Please try to support our guest. I saw you guys were bringing it up with Hop on Pop. Bob Lederer, again, we'll keep you guys posted. He will start joining us weekly coming up this week. We're still trying to hammer out a day and time for that. Well, time is obvious at 7:30, but which day that's going to be. So we've got Nick Faria, we got Matt Lombardo, we've got Hop on Pop. And now Bob Lederer apparently set to join that group. So, guys, make sure you show your support for Matt. Matt's a good friend of mine. I love having him on the show. He's a real treat. And obviously bringing the NFL Insider Game, which to me I find so fascinating. Every once in a while, we get that in a couple episodes normally, every blue moon, where I just sort of peel back the layers of being an NFL Insider and what that's all about. Being this information gatherer, bartering information, helping your sources helping you. It's a fascinating career for anyone that happens to get into it. We have 200 plus people in the room. like the video, hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We appreciate it. We're trying to make a chase to 10,000 subscribers. And real quick, before we open up the phone lines here on the program, what I would like to do is give you guys another reminder that you guys only have today and tomorrow for our raffle giveaway, which is, as shown here on the screen, a full zip-up New York Jets hoodie, plus an original Jet Zone banner when this YouTube channel was first started 5 years ago in September. Basically, it's just a big-ass New York Jets banner, which you guys can enjoy. That is a part of Boy Green Daily / the Jet Zone history, which is the bare roots of this very program. To get a raffle ticket to win one of those wonderful prizes, actually, you'll win both, not one. We're not splitting it up. Just spend $2.99 here on the channel. If you see all the people with loyalty badges on the screen, and I'll pluck a fruit from the ocean here, like Scotty, okay, Scotty Mayhem, look. He's got this loyalty badge by his name. That means he is a Boy Green Coffee Club member. You can join the Boy Green Coffee Club. It's currently the pinned comment, but that's about to go away because we're going to open up the phone lines. You can always do it in the YouTube description down below. It just simply says, join the Boy Green Coffee Club here. You click that link. It says, would you like to join the group? It's $2.99 a month. I try to make it as cheap as possible for you guys so you can both show your support and help me invest more into this show. And also, you guys get a bunch of perks out of it. You get a raffle ticket to win free shit. That's not too shabby. You guys get access to our Discord channel where we talk New York Jets all the time and beyond. We have fantasy football leagues in the Boy Green Coffee Club. And you guys get sneak peeks. People in the Discord Boy Green Coffee Club already know what next month's giveaway is, so we give you guys all kinds of sneak peeks and things of that nature. Plus, you get access to all the wonderful emojis, baby, here as well, which takes us to this from Jets Worldwide. Wide. Happy Emoji-versary, Paul. Started 1 year ago today. By the way, Snowball, a.k.a. Jets Worldwide, a member for 7 months here on the channel. And every time we get a super chat, we hear from my daughter, Zariah Luna.
Wow.
It's a wonderful partnership. I love Jets Worldwide providing all of our emojis on the channel. If you guys are watching, I'll throw a couple of them here on the screen. You guys can also do it in the comment section, whether it's Chef Kev, Booyah here on the screen, or NY Jets FL Ted, or Johnny Boy, or Emoji. All of them are all here. AG, so many more. You guys can use all of these wonderful emojis. Shout out again to the wonderful Jets Worldwide. That's all one word. You guys can subscribe to their YouTube content as well here on the YouTube. Feel free to do so. So, yes, happy Emoji-versary, Jets Worldwide, and thank you for what you bring to the show. Super, super cool. So, again, you guys have today and tomorrow. Those are the last 2 days for a raffle contest to be involved there. But then I will tell you, on Tuesday, we'll reveal who the winner is. It'll be the random wheel of name pickers. It'll be up to the gods to determine whoever's going to win that prize back. I will send that out immediately. And we'll reveal the biggest giveaway in Boy Green Daily history. It is of the most monetary value that we've ever given on this show in history. I hope you guys are ready for that in the month of July. And again, I will tell you, this will not work like a normal raffle. There will be special rules, and you'll understand it when we reveal that coming up on Tuesday. So, guys, get ready for that. It's going to be epic. It's going to be cool, and I love giving back, and this will be a really cool way to do so. So, guys, enjoy. All right, we'll do this. We'll open up the phone lines next here on a Sunday edition of Boy Green Daily before we head off to the diner. Let's open up the phone lines. Your call's next here on BGD.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go.
Let's bleep and go. We're only a couple months away, by the way, from our Jets-Cowboys tailgate game. I saw you guys talking about that in the chat. October 5th, Sunday, Week 5, New York Jets, Dallas Cowboys, battling out for supremacy in the National Football League. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm going to be there. My pop's going to be there. My mom's going to be there. My sister's going to be there. My whole family's going to be there. My fiance and my children. Zariah Luna's Wow. My son, PE3, a.k.a. Paulie. They're all going to be in there as well. So, yes, people, make sure you guys get to meet the fam. T-Town Jet, baby. Hey, now, welcome back to the Gosh Darn Boy Green Coffee Club. That's what I'm friggin' talking about, baby. The re-sign button. You'll love to see it. T-Town Jet, a longtime member of the Boy Green Coffee Club, made sure that they are back on the program. And, hey, for re-signing, you get another raffle ticket. So that is absolutely terrific. And T-Town Jet, that is your first raffle of the month. So you got a chance. That's all you want here on the program. So beautiful. And I just put you down for that, T-Town Jet. So welcome back to the Boy Green Coffee Club family. Appreciate it. All right, let's dive into the comments. And love it. Use those emojis. JETS, Jets. Come on, let's get one of those in. Come on, it's always good. Let's go. I got to warm up the pipes here. Booyah. That feels good to do. How many of those are we going to get? Week 5 Jets Cowboys. I'd say a lot. Take the over at Vegas, baby. Take the over. All right, let's dive into some of your questions or comments. Vern, I want to smoke a doobie with Hep one day. Oh, so he's using those papers not for writing songs, but smoking doobies. It could be there for Hep, but I'm not accusing, I'm just respecting. Yeah, Hep's great. I can't wait for Hep to be singing all over the place at the tailgate. It's going to be a terrific time. Yes. Yeah, we are family. Yes, there you go. Dave Parker, rest in peace. R.I.P. Dave Parker, thank you for that. Coming in, Stephen Fox. Stephen Fox. Yes, and for anyone who has not liked the YouTube video yet, as Scotty Mayhem says, make sure you guys like the video on YouTube. Makes a tremendous difference, and it's free to do. If you guys are just watching the show, just bring your cursor over to click like, or just do it. If you're on the phone, just go boop, boop. And like I said, it puts this Jet show in front of other Jet fans who have never seen it before. So it's a big help. Thank you. And thank you for everyone for all the love on Matt in here. Thank you. I appreciate that. He appreciates that. And he loves doing the show. We've worked together before. So it's a natural connection, and a natural connecting of the dots to bring us back together. Thank you very much. Let's jump to the phone lines. Hep joined us. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. How's it going, fellas? You know, it was interesting that what Bob was saying about the mergers and on the,
yes.
and the whole thing, and how the Buffalo Bills actually have the New York Jets to thank for actually being relevant, right?
Interesting. So if we, and I didn't get a chance to bring this up to Bob because time was running short, but essentially what it seemed like he said is if the Jets lost a Super Bowl, the Buffalo Bills would have folded as a franchise. And then it's an interesting thing. Do the Jets enjoy the splendors of a Super Bowl, or do we lose and the Buffalo Bills no longer exist? Interesting.
You know, we wouldn't be. But anyway, yeah, I got to get that book. It was really interesting. The other thing, I was watching some cable, and the movie Flash Gordon came on.
Oh yes, come on, the savior of the universe, baby. Yeah.
And he goes, and then he meets Ming, and he goes, "Who are you?" He goes, Flash Gordon, quarterback, New York Jets, number 19, you know.
I love that. If we could see some Flash Gordon jerseys at the tailgate, that would be marvelous. So that would be awesome. I love Flash Gordon, baby.
Thanks, Paul. See you on the rebound.
Yeah, thanks for the story. Flash, ha! Savior of the universe. Dun, dun, dun. Bump, 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 bump. Oh, it gets the engine revving. I love the Hep calls. Those are always great. All right, let's go to this guy who just made sure he returned to the Boy Green Coffee Club where he belongs. Tommy, OG Jets fan, 1985, baby. What's cracking, brother?
Paul, what's up? Good morning. How are you, brother?
Hey, I'm good. What jersey do we got there? What do we got?
Corbett.
Ah, there you go. Now I see the 80. Okay, beautiful. Nice. Great choice. Great choice, my man.
I really want to get a black Garrett Wilson this year. Waiting for that.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Maybe around my birthday in November, I pick one up.
There you go. Smart. Yeah, I love that.
I want to give a shout out to Matt Lombardo is real good, but Bob Lederer, is that how you say his last name?
Yeah. Oh wow, you guys really love Bob, huh?
dude, the guy has so much knowledge. He knows how to speak. I was cracking up when Indy Jets was trying to talk to him because Indy kept trying to talk over him. I was just like, if you look at Bob's face, he's like, all right, go ahead. Can I speak? So much knowledge, and I'm not a big book guy, but I am gonna go out and get his book because that guy he got a lot of intelligence, and I like the way that he speaks and handles himself. Great guest that you got on a weekly basis now.
Yes, I want to. So I've said this before, and this is just a prime example. I always say this is a show of the people, and people think that's just like a catchphrase that you throw on a pillow or something. But like that goes to show it. So many of you said, "Oh my God, Bob Lederer was awesome." Is there any way to have him more frequently? Bad Shy saw, and so many others. I don't want to name people because I'm going to miss somebody, and then just you now. And I reach out to Bob. I'm like, Bob, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but would you like to spend it with us on this show? And I can work around whatever your schedule is. And he went like, people really loved it that much. I'm like, yes, they want you on. And he said, well, I'm in. He said, let's make it happen. I said, I'll do whatever you want because I don't want to be imposing once a month or every other week or whatever you want to do. It's up to you. He said, every week. And I'm like, well, we're in, baby. Deal done. So I'm just trying to hammer out whatever day he wants to pick of his choosings of whenever he wants to come on. But again, the history that's just pouring out of this guy. He's forgotten more Jets football than I think I may ever know. So, Bob was terrific. And I can't wait to, hopefully, as it seems, going to have him here on a weekly basis. Amazing.
That would be awesome. Another last shout out is to your pops. I watched your show yesterday morning before I went into work. I worked a long day yesterday. It was crazy, but overtime, so it was good.
Oh, there you go, baby. Nice.
What your dad said about you playing football and all those kinds of words, like that's awesome, man. That's classic. Like your dad is it's like that tough guy, but he loves you to death. Like it's awesome.
That's exactly. You've got the temperature exactly right. That's it. He went to every football game, every Friday night under the lights, home, away. He traveled for the games and stuff. And you're right. He's a military guy, so discipline was high. He had high standard, and like I don't know if I've ever told this story, but like junior, senior, he gave me a conversation when I was like I don't know 7 years old, maybe it was even younger, and he just said like I have a high standard for all of my children. He has many children, but you have my name. You better not do something fucking stupid because I don't want the paper saying Paul Esden's an idiot because I'm Paul Esden. You're Paul Esden. Don't fuck up, which basically what he told me at like 7. I went, oh, okay, Dad. And but his message was heard that he has a high bar and he expects that of everyone in his life. And the bar's even higher for people like his family and coming in. I respect the hell out of that. So yeah, he's good people.
Definitely. My father wasn't in the military, but my grandfather was in the Navy, and he's my name. He's Thomas. My dad's Thomas. I'm Thomas. My son's Thomas.
So, there you go. Keep the train rolling, baby. I love it.
Yeah. 4 generations. All right, two jet points.
Yes.
I said this on Jake's show a couple days ago. They signed Jamie and Sherwood to like triple of what Quincy Williams is making. You know what I'm saying? And
yep.
What Quincy Williams did, I mean, I know last year he either got hurt or didn't have the best year. But
yeah, he was okay. He wasn't great, but he was okay. He wasn't terrible. He was just okay. Yes.
To me, though, I think Quincy Williams right now is more proven and showed us more than Sherwood did in that one season.
100%.
And Quincy Williams is a bigger linebacker. Sherwood needs to bulk up. He's a converted safety. So since they signed Sherwood to this big contract, I don't see them paying 2 linebackers that same amount, and Quincy's probably going to want more. So this might be his last year on the team. This might be Quincy's last year on the team.
Which sucks. It sucks. And I agree with everything that you've said. If I'm Quincy right now, right, like Jamian's making nearly triple more than me. So that's true. Number 2, if I'm Quincy, I'm like, that's cool, but I want even more money than him. I was a first-team All-Pro. Jamie was never a first-team All-Pro. He's only started for 1 full season, and it was by accident. The only reason he started was because C.J. Mosley got hurt. I've been your guy for years, so I totally understand where Quincy Williams is coming from, and he's got a legitimate case that he should be paid more than Jamie. And now the Jets, are you going to pay 2 off-ball linebackers again, because Quincy's going to want more. So let's just call it 16 million. Maybe it's even more than that, but let's call it 16 just for shits and giggles. Are you going to pay two of your starting off-ball linebackers 31 million per year moving forward? No other team in the NFL is doing it. I'm not saying you won't, but that seems unlikely. The Jets don't seem to be trailblazers from that perspective, which then takes us back to this could be his last year. And if so, it sucks. His celebrations are cool. His story is amazing. He's Quinnen's brother. There's a lot of touchy-feely here that I love, and it would suck. But I think we all see the writing on the wall in the same way we saw it for DJ Reed. Although I think people love Quincy even more than DJ Reed. They loved him. But we just sort of read the room when there's no way the Jets are paying DJ Reed again after the free agency like he's going. And basically 2024 was his farewell tour the entire year. We all sort of have come to the, understanding, well, he's leaving at the end of the year. Unfortunately, I think that's the same thing for Quincy.
And what sucks is Quincy's such a great personality. I love his interviews. I love that he's playing with his brother. Like it hypes them both up playing with your brother. So they each want to outplay 100%. The other one. You know what I mean? I love his green dreads.
Oh yeah, that's a good touch. I love that.
Yeah, and he just plays so ferocious. Like he plays like he wants to, eat. I just love the way he plays, and it's sad that he's.
Come on, who gets you out of the seat like that? When he lays someone out, I'm jumping off the couch. I'm man, I'm just gonna knock over this tower behind me. It's gonna collapse on me. But it just gives me so much energy when I'm jumping out of the seat, and I'm just like, oh yeah, the Jermaine Johnson tomahawk. Oh God, come on, man, it just fires us all up.
And I have another point, but with DJ Reed, I think they actually might have made a smart decision because he still might be all right for another cut, but he's getting up there in age.
100%.
I mean, he's never been a top number one cornerback, so it's not like you can get another two. Like if Brandon Stevens comes out and balls, no one's gonna even think twice about DJ Reed.
I agree.
But the last thing I just wanted to say was Brees, Sauce, Garrett. I don't know about Garrett getting bulked up, but when I saw Brees and Sauce at their interviews, these guys put on some muscle, man. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited. I saw the Brees Hall when he was on the Marshawn Lynch and the other guy from Seattle. He was on
Mike Robinson. Yes, the fullback. Yes. Got pod. Yes.
Yes. And I just watched him, and he you could tell he was a little bit intimidated sitting next to Marshawn Lynch, but that's Brees. He opened up and he just talked real. Like Marshawn Lynch asked him, he's like, "Can you be a 2,000-yard running back?" And he said, "Well, I'm not that kind of a running back. I'm a running back, also a receiver. Like I have no problem running for 1,000 and catching for 1,000." So he watched running backs like Arian Foster and
great
other stuff. But when I saw also Sauce at that when he did his thing, his arms looked like he put on all in his arms. Like if you look at last year, he had skinny little arms, and then in the thing. And when he's saying after the interview, he's all bulked up, and I love that. He's so young; he's only going to get bigger, stronger, and faster. As long as he can turn his head and get that interception here and there, like we're talking about the number one cornerback possibly that could be in the NFL.
Damn straight, Tommy. Damn straight, brother.
And as always, God bless you and your family. God bless America and JETS, Jets, baby. Let's go.
Tommy, baby, bringing the juice, bringing the chutzpah, bringing the mustard on the sandwich, if I may. Love the points, and I love it. Guys, keep bringing the points. Keep bringing the passion, the heat. I agree. Brees was looking strong as all hell. He did that in the media day, too. You could see that he really bulked up, and I think some of these guys that have bulked up really needed it. Certainly Brees and obviously Sauce, too. I think it's only going to help. All right, let's go back to the phone lines, baby. Great call from Tommy. That's going to be hard to follow up. Let's go to Scotty Mayhem, baby. What's up, brother?
You always put me after the guys that I need to follow up, and can't top. Tommy brings the juice, man, and I want to get Tommy a book, Bob's book. So let me throw this out to the universe, BG.
Oh, sure. All right.
First of all, I absolutely love that tape of you doing karate. That was freaking amazing. It didn't even look like you, man.
In there. Yeah, I know. I'm a young guy with a lot less beard and a lot less hair. So we'll see. I'll upload a couple more videos. I have a couple more in the bank, and I know Philly loves those. So I'll put a few more of those in there.
So I do want to talk about Quincy and Brees, both of whom are my guys. I love them. Sure. I won't express it the same way Tommy did, but they are my guys. But I want to talk about Bob first before we move on.
Bob, yeah, of course. B.O.B.
So I want to be on camera with Bob. I tried to
Okay.
get on. I know you had to run out. There were like 6 or 7 other guys waiting, but
Mhm.
just from the standpoint of our dueling glasses first, we're both old school guys. So
Mhm.
I think DJ and Jared want to see me next to Bob and see whose
Mhm.
glasses look better. But I want to have a
Okay.
bet. I want to throw a
A
bet out.
bet. Okay.
My bets don't go very well. So
Well, not so far, which means you're
no.
due. That's how I see it. Yeah.
I don't know if he'd be willing to, but I will buy 10 of Bob's books to
Wow.
distribute on the Boy Green Coffee Club, show for
Okay.
anybody who buys in on your Wheel of Fortune. So
Okay.
I will buy 10 of Bob's books to be
All right.
distributed to Boy Green followers.
Yep.
If I win the bet, he's got to buy 10 books of my choice. If I lose the bet, I've got to buy 10 books of his choice, which is his book,
Of
because
course.
I
Right.
think that was his first question to every person who was on your
It
show.
was book.
I will tell him before he says anything. It's very hard to speak over Bob, but Indy Jet did a very good job with that, by
Oh
the way.
wow! I knew that was coming when I heard Bob giving his take on Justin Fields, because Bob told me ahead of time. He said, "Hey, I live in Chicago. I'd love to at some point, Paul. Can you just bring it up? I've lived in Chicago since like '83. I saw Justin Fields for all his years here. I want to talk about it on the show." I said, "Sure, I'll put it in my notes." But I said, "I want to get to Jerry Philbin and your stories first, but we'll eventually get to it. I promise." And we got to it on day 2, and I saw Indy's reaction in the
Oh.
comments to it. I'm like, "Oh boy, that's going to be fiery." So let me try to carve out the proper time for that, because Indy could get very passionate. So what's the bet though? So okay, so I understand the bet of book versus book, but what is the bet that leads to that?
So there you go, because you and I said Cisco, by the way, before you said Cisco, because we think alike.
Yes.
So there you go. The tie-in is Indy, because I lost the bet to Indy.
All right.
And Bob's absolutely horrendous take about the Jets win total.
Yeah.
I
Oof.
totally respect I loved his stories, by the way. He's amazing.
Sure.
I could listen to him all day about the history.
Mhm.
But God, is he so off base, and I cannot wait to be on screen with Bob and have a conversation. If I can get a word in, I will certainly defer, because he is your
Sure.
co-podcaster, but I will not overtalk him. But I do want to bet him on the win total for the New York Jets.
Ooh.
They are not going to win less than 5.5 games, 5 games.
Oh, so the Vegas line is where you want to go. Is like you'll probably.
Well, because of what he said. He said
Yeah,
the
right.
Jets, this is his quote, okay? So
Okay.
if
Yeah,
he
give it to
wants
me. Remind
if
me.
he wants to put his money where his mouth is, which I'm happy to buy 10 bucks. I hope to lose so I can distribute. One
Yeah,
has
sure.
to go to Tommy. He got me really fired up. The other 9,
yeah.
you put him on the wheel, the one for Tommy.
Okay.
He said the Jets will be lucky, direct quote, Bob. The Jets will be lucky to win 6 games. So we are right at the line, BG.
That's true.
The line
So-
is that he believes the Jets are going to win 5 or less games, because he said the Jets would be lucky to win 6 games because of one of my guys, Justin Fields. I want to have a bet with him.
Okay,
that
I like
says,
it.
If the Jets win less than 6 games, which would be the 5, that's the line with the the experts, 5.5. He gets me to buy 10 of his books. However, if the Jets win more than 5.5 games, which I know is a certainty, I already have $1,000 bet on that. I
Mhm.
want him to buy 10 books. I will show the book that I want him to buy. And I
Okay.
also want those 10 books to be, he can keep one. I want 9 of those books to be distributed to your callers. One of them should go
Okay.
to Indy.
I like that. And either way the callers win, they'll be educated in one book or one fashion. So I like it. And I think that Vegas line, especially based on what he says, will make sense. So as soon as Bob locks in his day, obviously he is open to callers. The only reason we didn't the first time was because I had to run. So yeah, I would love it. Let's do it.
I will be your first caller. I will be
Okay.
on waiting to
I'll get you.
debate with Bob the history of the New York Jets and why I believe they're going to win way more games, which is because of the offensive line and the analytics. But let's talk about Quincy for a second.
Okay,
'Cause
and real
I
quick, by
think-
the way, I see
Yes.
Fleur Lily says, I want to get in on this bet, so I'll see what that means. Fleur Lily also working into your guys' bet. Sounds like he wants some of the action, which we will
I'll
be open
I'll
to.
send for Lily the book because he is a poet of my my liking. I believe the the callers were all very touched by what he shared. So I will send him a book. All I need is his address. I'm happy to send it to him. Listen.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
You guys have to understand this, because of what you were doing with Tommy is exactly how Jet Nation feels about Quincy. Quincy is not going anywhere, and I'm going to explain to you why he's not going anywhere.
Oh,
First
okay.
of all,
Yeah,
the $15 million is not an issue. It's money well spent if Quincy does what Quincy did 2 years ago. So here's my take on Quincy really quickly. I know there's other callers, but I want you to hear this.
All right.
If you go back to Parcells, okay, when AG was playing for Parcells, if you guys remember, AG didn't think he was going to remain on the team. Remember, he was on the worst team ever with the Kotite years. And all of a sudden, there's a culture change. What was Parcells all about? There were players that were driving the bus, and there were players that were on the bus. AG was one of those players that Parcells knew he wasn't leaving. He was driving the bus, okay? Quincy drives the freaking bus. Quincy is going to have an all-pro year. If the Jets don't re-sign him, then AG is not who I think he is. Quincy isn't going anywhere. Quincy is going to ball out. He is going to, along with Jamie, and I love the signing of Jamie Sherman, but I don't want to lose him.
Yeah,
but I think we have elite linebackers, BG, and you don't let your elite players go. And by the way, Brees Hall is going to ball out, and they're going to have a really difficult decision. I know they can't pay everybody, but they will get comp picks if they can't sign him. But the bag is going to be going to those two fellas. They're both going to have great years. And last thing I want to mention, Brees Hall had an injury last year, which nobody talked about. He had a knee injury. It was talked about in the offseason. Brees Hall didn't whine about it. He didn't say boo about it. He still got 1,300 yards. Brees Hall is going to be a beast this year. So don't write off Brees and don't write off Quincy. They're not going anywhere so fast. AG is a Parcells clone. Watch what happens. The guys who play, he will pay. And they are the type of guys that we want. They didn't say anything in the offseason. They're not holding out. These are the Jets, Jets. New era, new coach. Get ready, fellas. We're going to win often, and we're going to win ugly. And F you, Bob, on your take on Justin Fields.
Hey, before you dip, Scotty, Foy Lily's in here. He said he wanted to get in on the bet. So, my friend, please.
Yes, I love your take, Scotty. That's great. And I agree. They're going to win more than 6 games. And what I meant by I want to get in on the bet is I want that action. They're definitely going to win more than 6 games or more than 5.5. So the line is
Vegas line,
yeah. And I'll match Scotty. I'll buy 10 of his books and distribute them as well. But then I'm not sure what book I want him to buy for me, but I'll think of something by then or by the end.
Yeah. Oh, I have a
even
book.
If it's Scotty, even if it's Scotty, it's your book that you want.
It's going to be a book that we had a manifestation video. By the way, every one of these videos that you have, your podcast, man, you should have a name for them. Like every single one of them. We've had some of the most amazing podcasts. Like the other day, we had kitty porn with this guy smacking tushes in the karate dojo. I mean, listen, man. As your attorney, I'm just warning you. You should have NR ratings on some of these
probably
videos,
true.
PG.
That's probably true. Yes.
I was a little offended by that too. When he said 6 wins, I was like, 6 wins, man. They're going to be 6-6 after 12, and it's going to come down to the last 5 games.
And you've been saying that all off season, Foy Lily. You have.
I'm sticking by that. I think they're going to be a 500
card.
Team.
Justin, his take on Justin Fields is so bad. If you watch Justin Fields the last 3 years, he's gotten better every single year. He has not had an offensive line. He has not had competent coaching. And if you look at what he did in Ohio State, he was elite. He's not the greatest processor. He's not a Chad Pennington type of processor, but you don't need to when you have ground and pound. Look at what we did in 2010. We had a great game manager. Justin Fields is so much better than Mark Sanchez. I don't know what some of these guys are looking at, like Incel Alon and Alon, what they're saying. I don't even understand this. O-lines win. 7 out of 8 teams, if you look at 7 out of the 8 top offensive lines, went to the playoffs. I'm telling you guys, smash the 5.5. I've got $1,000 down. I may, after Tommy Boy, I may increase my bet. I'm just telling you.
Oh, well, I would just say this real quick. The thing on Bob that I didn't get is, so Bob has been in Chicago since like 83. He's been there forever. And he said that, well, obviously Justin Fields like had the worst coaching of all time. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then he went, boo, Justin Fields sucks. I'm like, whoa, wait a second here. I'm not saying put everything on the coaches. Justin Fields isn't responsible for anything, but can't there be some part of a balanced diet here if we're going to talk on one side of our mouth about the coaching being so shitty, like it's awful, and he was poking fun at it, and then the other side of Fields, like, what would he do with better coaching? I think it's compelling. But go ahead, Lily.
Well, no, not only was the coaching bad, the whole team was bad. The
Of
Bears were
course.
horrible.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right.
I mean, and I'm with you, Scott. I believe I'm old school where the teams that win are going to be the teams with the best offense and defensive lines, and that's consistent. My only concern about this team, and I've been concerned about it from day one, is the defensive. Can they stop the run? And that's my only concern. But
Good
the
point.
offensive line is going to be great. If everybody, I mean, we all believe it's going to be a top 10, possibly top 5, and if just from that, if this offense can't, put up like 25 points a game, something's wrong then. Something didn't register.
I mean, last point for me. Look, I said all along, BG, that the weakness is what Lily just said, which is the D line. I really wanted them to get a big, run stuffer. For me, that's the weakness. I love the secondary. I love this kid Malachi Moore. I think he's going to be an absolute. I think it was a steal, and I think Cisco is going to. Again, he's playing for a contract. He's going to have an amazing year. The Jets are going to have all kinds of crazy decisions they have to make next year. So listen, I don't know what the haters are talking about. We had this conversation with Neil, months ago. Remember when Neil gave up his tickets, his tickets, and he was crying over Aaron Rodgers. Listen, I don't dislike Aaron Rodgers, but he's 41 years old. Justin Fields is going to be a revelation, guys. I'm telling you, I'm so excited about this season. I know I have Pollyanna glasses, these. I'm telling you, this is the year. The Jets are going to turn it around. They got the right coach. It's going to be a fun year. So go, Tommy. Thank you for that wake-up call. And I can't wait to talk to Bob because he should stick to ancient history. He is so far. He did give a disclaimer, by the way, BG. He did say he doesn't know anything about the current. He couldn't even name 3 people on, 3 players on the Jets. So he did have that disclaimer. But I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. No, I didn't buy your book, Bob, but I will buy 10 books. Let's bet. Let's go.
I actually did go out and buy it the other day, so I'm waiting for it. But I'll match the bet.
I like that.
I'll go 10 as well.
Okay.
10 more.
That'd be awesome.
Have a good
Lily,
one.
thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Couple of things here. First off, MFC gave a $2 super chat and says, play the WoW for the anonymous hater, please. Your wish is my command.
Thank you for that. The super chat. You could get lucky here on the Boy Green Show. This show is daily. It's in the morning. Be sure to stay tuned. Let's go, Jets.
What an enchanting song. And that anonymous guy out there. Suck on that, baby. Suck on that. MFC, by the way, you're $1 away from another raffle ticket. Just keep that in mind because today and tomorrow, there's no rollover into the next month. So just make sure that you get that in before the end of the month. Appreciate that super chat, my friend. Now, before we get back to the phone lines, and there's more phone calls to be had, I got an email here, and it was of interesting note. It was from NY Jets FL, and apparently I was spotted in Florida. What in the world? All right, let's go over here. Let's see what the hell he's talking about here. I was spotted in Florida. I've been in New York, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about there, but let's bring it up here. Okay, there appears to be a picture here on the screen. Let's zoom in here. Who the hell is this? All right, zoom in. Whoa, wait a second here. What the hell? What the? That's not me. This bearded imposter here on the camera. Who is this? That's not Boy Green. Who is this guy? I'm not in Tampa. And what is that? A shot? What does he have in his hands there? He's messing around on his phone. I'm sorry, Ted. I'm sorry to report. This is not Boy Green. Although I can see the similarities in some case. But there you go, Ted. Apparently seeing me in Tampa. Let's go a little closer. Let's go a little closer image here of this guy. What's that in his hands? What's that, a jar, honey? Oh, okay. Now I can see it. I didn't get to see the bottom before. Some sort of a drink. All right. Phone bearded guy. Well, I could sort of see how the confusion could have happened. I understand, Ted, but no Boy Green there. No Boy Green there at all. But appreciate it. All right, Wade, we got another one coming in. MFC says, probably a lawn that doesn't like the wow, so let's do it again. Hey, I respect the hell out of it, baby. I respect it. Here we go. Wow. There we go, MFC. There you go. Another raffle ticket on the board for you. That is 13 raffle tickets on the month and $2 away from another one because every raffle ticket is, of course, $3 here on the channel. Appreciate you. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. Got a lot of people waiting. We'll go to Ricky New York Live, who says he had something to get off his chest in the comments section, and I am a man of the people. What's up, Ricky?
What's up, Paul? Yeah, like I don't know why anybody would be thinking that this is Quincy's last year. Like he's not going anywhere. I mean, he didn't have as good a year. He didn't have a bad year last year.
Definitely
but
not.
It wasn't up to standards, I would say. And I mean, but the entire time he's been here, he's like exceeded expectations pretty much. And if there's anything, like if there's any complaint that I would have, it's like, dude, he's got that motor, but like, you know, and it's not even that he over pursues sometimes, but there's been two different times. One of them was against the Bengals a couple of years ago. And the other one was like this past season where he like gets into the backfield, makes this big, huge hit, and he dislodges the ball. But instead of going for the ball, he's over there like doing the uppercut celebration.
Cardinals game. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, you know what? I thought it was the Cardinals game, but I wasn't sure. And I didn't say that because I'm thinking, no, you're you know, thinking of what he basically decapitates Kyler Murray.
That was it. Yeah, he blitzed off the left tackle edge, slams into him, goes into a celebration. The ball was loose, and he didn't know, and he's just celebrating, and Kyler jumped back on the ball. Could have been – it was a great play, and I think the Jets just released their top 10 plays of the season. I think that made it, but it could have been an even higher play if he also is having some awareness. So, yes.
And you know what? I think that was one of the plays of the year a couple of years ago, too, when he did the same thing to Joe Burrow, and the ball came out. And that one, if you remember, God, I can't remember the guy's name, Phillips or something, picked up the ball and like ran 20 yards with it. And like, dude, everybody else practically was like down the field, and like all of a sudden Quincy like turns around like, oh wait, that play's not over. Like, yeah. And I mean, and that, but that's like nitpicking. Like,
sure,
you know,
of course,
we're talking about two small instances amongst a bunch of good stuff, but.
And he grew from the shit early in his career, Ricky. For instance, he seemed to always be this guy that could be baited, like chasing, like a dog chasing traffic. For instance, an Eagles preseason game, Jalen Hurts was clearly out of bounds, and he lit him up. And it just was like one of those dumb things like, Quincy, come on, man. You got to have your head spun on your head right. And these are the reasons why you've got all these traits, but you're never going to make it to the next level unless you rein it in and control this energy that you have. So that was another one. And again, thankfully it was preseason, but just showed that like he didn't quite have it yet. And then obviously everything from there on eventually clicked.
Yeah, and I think C.J. Mosley's influence was huge on him, but this is the thing. Like, the salary cap is going up drastically each year.
Every
now.
year, yeah.
You know, paying these linebackers what it's going to cost to keep them both, it's not as outlandish as people think. But considering the way the cap is going up,
Good point.
you know, and you're not talking about like paying two, you know, it's not like a T. Higgins, Jamar Chase situation.
Definitely
you
not.
got
Right.
big bucks. But and the other thing is okay, so we got Quincy for a deal the first time. Let's just
Oh
be
my
honest.
God.
The deal we
Unbelievable
signed
deal.
into was very very
team
good for the
friendly.
Jets.
Very team friendly.
Very,
Yes.
very team friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it came time to pay Sherwood, the market has changed. Like the price isn't the same as when Quincy got his deal. The other thing is he was going to get the bag from somebody. If we wanted to keep him, we had to pay him that figure, basically.
That's correct. Yes, I agree. We were up against it.
I think Quincy understands that, but like everybody said, you got a guy who did well, but only did it for 1 year. Then you got a guy who's an all-pro.
First team all-pro.
If you're Aaron Glenn and you think, damn, I got this kid that's an all-pro linebacker, but if he just did this and this, he could be, you know, another level, even better than that. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and pay his running mate, and it's going to be in his contract year, and it's going to be the biggest motivational tool you've ever seen.
You could be onto something, Ricky, because I think Woody mentioned this a couple weeks ago, that when AG took the job, there was a few players that he shouted out. There's a 90-man roster, but there's a few players he highlighted as the leaders of his team, and Quincy Williams was one of the names he mentioned. And then we got both of their answers, both Aaron Glenn at his presser and Quincy Williams at his. Aaron Glenn saying that I identified Quincy and I reached out to him. I called him. We talked for a long time. And I told him the things I want him to improve on. And I like, hey, you could do this, but I think you could do all this. Quincy took this constructive criticism and did it. And to your point, if he answers the bell on the things AG wanted to see, maybe it was that challenge to say, hey, you did everything I asked for, and I'm a man of my word. Quincy, you're staying here for a long time. Boom, pays him. Yeah, maybe you're right, Ricky. There seems to be some case to be made once you sort of lay all the facts on the table like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And, you know, it weirdly, like, it seems like every video that I've done is basically just talking about the player interviews. Like I don't think I've talked about hardly anything on the field at all. But dude, there's so much information there. And like now all of a sudden we're having this conversation about Quincy. Well, let's rewind, you know, to the beginning of OTAs. And what did Aaron Glenn say about Quincy? What did Quincy say about Aaron Glenn? Like, you know, you got to like put all that into context, but like, and that's what I've been trying to tell people. Like, you know, sometimes it's one comment about Quincy here, or, you know, Andre Cisco there. But when you take all those comments and you put them all together and you read it like a list all at once, like there's a lot of very encouraging information there, you know? So, yeah, me personally, I think that he knew that, you know, not only in paying Sherwood we'd be keeping a good player, but I think he knew that it would light the fire under Quincy too. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, so that's what I think. You know, lock up the young guy and get the best out of your all-pro guy. Kill two birds with one stone. That's good coaching. That's you know.
There you go. Save a stone, baby. I love it. Save a stone. Kill two birds with one stone. Save a stone. And Ricky, thanks for keeping us honest. I love, and again, this is what I've always said on this show. You know, I'm an open-minded guy, man. I don't just say, hey, Quincy's definitely gone and this is it. Like, I'm open to interpretation. Ricky made a compelling case. A very compelling case. All right, we have 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Let's go back to the phone lines and wait just a second here. Are we diving into the office of one chef, Kevin Gilbert? Whoa. Hey, now. I don't think we've ever been here before. Oh, this place looks nice. What's going on in here?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. This is the office all the way upstairs.
Okay.
You know, I just got to clean up a lot of admin work. We had a busy week, also coming back from vacation. I'm just trying to
right, sure.
tidy everything up, look over labor. It's crazy how July is one of our slower months. So,
Really?
I just got to make sure that,
Catch
we're
up, right?
profiting, making money right. I got inventory this coming Tuesday. So, it's just plugging away. The kitchen's fine. We're getting brunch and everything ready. I'm actually leaving early soon. I'm going to a Yankees game today. Jake has a whole meetup or whatever.
Oh,
So
cool. I hope you guys enjoy and have a good time.
I appreciate that, man. So I've been here early. I've been here since 5:30. So
Damn.
I'm just trying to make sure I get everything right before I head out. But when I came up here, when I plugged onto your show, I was at the point where Tommy was talking. He's a good caller. I like Tommy, respect him and all that, but I'm not with him when it comes to Quincy. Everything that Ricky was saying just prior, man, I'm on board with that too. It's like with Quincy, we had a guy, man, who had over 100 tackles last year. All right. One thing that I loved about Mosley, man, like
Yes.
not only could he take on blockers, but he would always like swing and go and hit the ball or whatever. Where last year some of our secondary tried doing that rather than tackling, and that messed us up. Where when Mosley was doing it, he was actually, if it wasn't coming out, then he would bring the person with the ball handler down. So for me, I felt like that's important to at least try, just to attempt, and to have, I think it was like 4 forced fumbles last year. He had 3 recoveries, 2 sacks with a beat defensive line, man, with a little more D line help, man, with some more blitzing, because he didn't really blitz all that much. Yeah, we was talking about how he basically almost decapitated homeboy, but that was kind of it, man. He had 1 more sack, and that was it for the season. Like, it was a bad season, but right now, how the NFL is going, man, they're not really using a lot of fullbacks, man. So they're having 3 receivers, sometimes 4, and with Quincy, he's able to man up. He's able to take on a wide receiver or a tight end. Now with Sherwood, with his elusiveness, this helps out a lot, man. Where team just can't just throw on us. We got a lot younger in the secondary. Obviously, our coach is a ex cornerback in the league, so with his scheming, man, is gonna be right. And you saw what Glenn did last year in the playoffs, man. Literally having bare bones in his secondary, just with a ton of injuries. He had D line injuries as well that didn't help. So with Quincy, man, you don't want to mess up what we got going on, man. Like the bag the bag will be there. Is he going to get a lot of money? I don't know. I think it kind of depends on what we do with Sauce and how much money we have left over after whatever we end up doing with him. Because we already have Quinnen, and then McDonald's on the rookie deal. Jermaine, we extended him, so at least we got another year to kind of play around with whatever kind of money we need to do. There's tags around too. Would I use it on Quincy? I'd rather just lock him up, man, to be honest.
Sure.
So for me, I think it's pretty important, man, not to totally just break up this defense, because who are we going to get to replace Quincy? We're going to have to pay somebody, man. And then to just kind of think like, oh, we'll get somebody in the draft. Like, we have so many other positions that we need to cover, man. Like, we already got the guy here. He wants to be here. He plays well with his brother too. Like, I wouldn't want to mess this up, man. I just kind of keep it how it is. But Ricky said basically everything that needed to be said, man. Like, we got to make sure that we keep this right. And he's gonna have a better season, knowing that how we played last year, man, with how everything went on, man. Having over 100 tackles, man, he's gonna be right, man. This is somebody that we need. And then I heard my man Scotty, man, talking doing the whole bet thing and all that. I think that's a cool thing. That guy Bob, man, he's a good storyteller, man. I haven't read his book or books. I don't know how much he's done. But when he was talking about, the back in the day kind of stuff, that basically transported me back into time, man, and just kind of relived some of that stuff, even though I wasn't around for that, but still just hearing what he was saying and all that kind of stuff. It was really enlightening, man. It was good to hear. the win totals. What was he's under Vegas? Like
Yeah, so apparently Scotty's the one that gave the direct quote. I remember him talking talk, and I'm like, whoa. So I didn't remember the direct quote, but Scotty said it, that he said the Jets would be lucky this year. And he's a Jets fan himself, on top of writing the book and everything. He said the Jets would be lucky this year to win 6 games. And I'm like, damn. Okay. All right. That's one take. And he is on Team Tank. He's like, hey, man, I don't think Fields is going to be the guy. He lives out in Chicago. I guess he's lived out there since like 83. So he saw the few years with Fields. So he was painted in a certain way of seeing Fields. So he doesn't think he's the guy. So he'd rather the Jets tank and get one of these top quarterbacks. But me and you, Chef, are on the same page as it pertains to that sort of chatter on a year-to-year basis. I'm not about any of that. I don't want these promises of next year. I'm ready to ride the Justin Fields train and make the playoffs this year. The 2026 quarterback class. We'll get there if that's how the conversation goes and we can't control it. But I'm not worried about any of that shit right now. But yes, Bob B.O.B. Was on that one.
Yeah, I'll be seeing how Scotty plays this one, man. I'll let him take the charge.
Fair enough.
To be honest, man, like I'm at 6 as well. I'm at 6 wins at this point currently right now. I'm not gonna say I've been on record saying that. Just with what we have so far.
Well, right.
Currently to date, but I'm not gonna say like we will be lucky. Could we squeeze another win or two? I think it's not out of the reach, but currently I have us doing better than last year. You know, I don't have it in my heart to honestly slam this team and say that we're going to do worse than last year.
Oh God!
Again, if we do, I've said this before. If we do worse than last year, man, forget it. I'm just gonna like, you know, that's kind of it, man. Like I'm already in a bad mental place right now when it comes to the Jets, but I'm feeling a little bit better knowing about the coaching situation, knowing about the pieces and all that kind of stuff. We're hearing the stuff. All right. That's what got me in all these other years, just hearing this stuff. Now it's the play on the field and getting this production. If we're not getting the production, if we're not getting the wins, and we're in the same stuff that we were in last year, man, then it's not gonna be good. But here's the thing too with Fields, with a lot of what people were talking about, and we've had this conversation too. Like, other than Sam, man, I felt like Fields was the best option in that quarterback market. And just to be honest, man, like he didn't really have a lot of protection, and you saw how important protecting him was with this previous draft, man. Back-to-back years getting the offensive line, man, is so important to make sure that we solidify this offense, to give him some lanes to throw and also to run, man. And he's a weapon now with his legs, something we really haven't had. You can't really talk about Michael Vick and whoever else. Like, that wasn't really the time where Mike was really shining with us. Like, we haven't had a mobile quarterback, man, to be frank with you. And to have this kind of weapon right now, yes, arm mechanics, but when you have players that you played with before, that you have a chemistry already with, like, you know, I feel like that stuff would be a little bit easier for him to have some production. You know, that's just my 2 cents, but I really feel like we can't be on board with, hey, let's tank right now, man. Like, for what? Like, training camp didn't even start yet to be like, yeah, we got to tank for what? What are you seeing? What did you see in college last year that's still there this year in college, where you're like, yeah, I want to screw this whole season up. I want to root for the tank. I don't want to see them doing good. For what? For what picks? Because that ain't even a guarantee that we're gonna get the number 1 pick. If we get the number 1 pick, man, just the amount of gray hairs that I'm gonna get over this season for us to get the number 1 pick, man, ain't even gonna be worth it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm with the over with what Vegas. I think it was at 5.5. So I'm you know slightly by a hair. I have us over. You know, if it at this point it's what it is. If we start seeing something else, then, you know, it's what it is. But, you know, I would love to see the playoffs, man. That would be amazing. But then just to finish up, because I know you got another person or whatever.
No, you are going to be the last caller on today's show,
okay,
and I will have
a
few comments for you before we get out of here. But I'll let you finish, please.
Nice, my man. So I think it was yesterday you had Philly Noodles on.
Yes, he joined us Saturday and Friday, so he's on twice.
Yeah, he normally got the Philly Friday
right.
special with him.
Yeah, right.
For the most part, other than his Daniel Jones nonsense, like he has really good takes, man. I give him that, man. He's a good dude. We play around back and forth and whatnot. But with his son yesterday, seeing like your karate skills and all that kind of stuff, man, like, dude, I guess we got some new people now, and Scotty saw as well. Like, yo, BG's in his bag, man. Don't sleep on BG. He'll come with the
There we go,
swift
baby.
little roundhouse kicks. Like
That's it.
That kick when you broke the board, flew about 20 feet, hit a minor in the head, man. I mean, that's some skill, man.
I
Quite
appreciate
impressive,
you.
man.
There you go. Hey, more of those videos to come because I love patting myself on the back. So yeah, more of those videos to come, I'm sure.
All right, talk to me, brother. What do you have for me?
Okay, so here's a couple of things. First off, Nate says, "Tell Chef I'm crashing the Yankee party with a Juan Soto jersey on."
Yes.
There you go.
My God, Nate. There we go.
So, Nate, appreciate that. I thought Chef would really enjoy that. Hop on Pop says 8 wins at least. Lock it in. So, captain.
Okay, Pops, let's go.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna get one of them against those Cowboys. Let's go.
There you go. And I can't wait. That's going to be beautiful to see that in person. And speaking of that Cowboys game, Chef, you being the chef, we've crowned you, since the very beginning that you were going to be the guy. You've gotten a lot of requests, Chef. You've gotten a lot of requests of sausages on the grill, EZD, brats, My pop is joining the train, apparently. Chef Kevin Gilbert, what is the hop on pop item on the tailgate menu? Another one with it being the Jets-Cowboys game and him being there. He's like, took a gander at the menu. Where the hell am I? So another request here, Chef.
All right, we'll have to talk off camera, man.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Pops is preaching, man. Pops is talking. We got to make it right, man.
Okay.
I mean, that's the exception. I don't think there's anybody else where I'm like.
I was just about to say, I feel like the list has to end at some point here. I just,
if my Dukes saying something, you're Puerto Rican. Mom's Puerto Rican, right?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hope she don't talk about no rice and chicken, rice and beans kind of thing. Like,
yeah, hopefully she just respects the lanes.
Yeah,
right. You said like we talked, right? Yeah, no more, no mas, no mas. Whatever the choices for the gods were, they are. And hey, you guys can give suggestions for next year, and we will take those, and I'll put those under advisement. I will keep you guys posted. But yes, no more Puerto Rican dish request or anything of that nature. I believe Pops has the final request, so
that's it.
We'll talk about that. Chef, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, pal.
No, I appreciate it. Shout out to you, man. The Coffee Club members. Number one Austrian Jet fan, man. It was good seeing you.
Yes.
Get better, keep fighting, man. You'll come out on top, man. Salute,
appreciate it. Chef, enjoy the Yankees game today with the Jake Ashman as Maniac people. Appreciate all you guys out there. Please, guys, enjoy. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Boy Green Daily. We'll be back on tomorrow morning with another guest. That is Nick Ferrier, Jets reporter for JetsXFactor.com and NFL reporter for Athlon Sports. He joins us every Monday at 8 o'clock. So we'll have 30 minutes pregame of Nick talking about whatever the hell is going to be going on. Then we'll bring, Nick Ferrier on at 8 o'clock. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I love doing this show, and you guys make it great. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care.